Alrighty. Well, yeah, just pulling a little copper out of some things here. Um, I'm getting ready to take a load in. I want to take a load in before winter. I'm cleaning up the property here, the area. Well, I'm cleaning up the area where I'm camped anyway. Um, I think that that's an important thing to do, but especially before winter comes. I'm going to tell you a story about something that happened yesterday. Where I take Rocky to get his bandage changed, it's on a side road not far from here. And when I'm leaving with him to come back here, of course, at the end of the side road, there's a stop sign right on the corner there. And when I come to that corner, then I come onto the main road from there to come back to where I am. And it's not too far away. It's a very short drive. It's literally like a 5-minute drive, you know. Anyway, there's a man lives on the corner there at the intersection. He's actually a relation of mine. He's a cousin of my mother. And I got along well with him for a long time. When I'd walk past his house, if he was outside, we'd chat and everything. He knew who I was. We got along very well, no issues. But yesterday, something really weird happened. I've noticed when I go past his place now, if I wave, he doesn't wave back. If he's sitting outside by his house or whatever, he won't wave back. And I figured, well, maybe he doesn't see me. Or maybe he's not expecting me to be in this truck. Because I was walking for a long time, eh? But maybe he doesn't expect me to be in this truck or whatever. He doesn't know it's me. Anyway, yesterday, though, when I was bringing Rocky back from having his bandage changed, there's a stump. There's like a tree that's either been cut or fallen down. I think it's probably fallen down by the look of it. And there's a high stump there by the road. And he was outside with a woman looking at the stump. I don't know if that woman is his wife or who she is. I don't really know his wife to see her. I haven't met his wife very often. I've met her maybe once or twice, and I just don't know. But it may have been his wife he was out there with. I just don't know. But he was out there with somebody anyway, and they're looking at this stump. And I don't know, maybe he's thinking of clearing it out of there or something. I don't know. It's a fairly substantial stump, and it's right by the road there. I think it's on his property, but it's on the road allowance probably because of where it is. Although I'm not sure, it's a bit of a gray area. But anyway, it's there, and he and this woman were looking at it. And so they were close to the road. As I drove by, I had the window down and everything. I stuck my arm out and I waved. And when I did that, he flew into a blind rage. And he came at me just like a bull with his head down and his teeth clenched. And he said, "What are you doing?" Anyway, I just kept driving. I thought, I don't know what this is, but I kept driving anyway. So I'm guessing the guy's mad at me. I don't know why he's mad at me. I can't think of any legitimate reason why he would be, but maybe there is a legitimate reason I don't know about. The only thing that I can think of that might possibly have upset him is that I had a bit of a falling out with his daughter-in-law last year. Myself and his daughter-in-law were kind of half-ass friends, mostly just on Facebook, really. We knew each other in the real world, though, too, but it's not like we spent any time together or anything. It was mostly on Facebook. This girl is a practicing witch, basically. She's involved into a lot of occult stuff and so on. And look, that's her right. And a person has a right to practice their religion. It's not my religion, and it's not a religion I would want any part of. And that was actually, I think, the source of our difficulties. because she wanted to become my spiritual leader. And I told her that I absolutely was not interested in that. For one thing, biblically, a woman should not be a spiritual leader. That may stick in a lot of people's craws, but if you have an issue with it, take it up with God because He said it. So, what can I tell you? You're mad. You'd be mad at God then because He's the one who said it. But not that I think you should be mad at God, but still, if you're going to be mad at the source, and that is God. So that's the first thing. The second thing is it's witchcraft. She's practicing witchcraft. Now, to her credit, she doesn't deny it. She's not pretending to be anything she isn't. And I respect that, you know. But I disagree with her. And I certainly don't want to get into occult practices and, you know, take some hallucinogenic drug and go into the woods and have a vision and then come back and have her interpret it for me and all that business. I have no interest in any of that. Her and, this relation of mine's son, have actually bought a property. It's a former campground, and this is where they practice their occult stuff or whatever, their spiritual stuff, you know. And they, you know, if you go out there, you can go out there and you can stay there and you can practice the spiritual stuff with them and all that, you know. If that's your thing, you can do that. It's not my thing, that's all. Anyway, she sent me kind of a couple of long-winded voice clips a year or two. It might even be 2 years ago now. I think a year ago, but it might have been 2 years ago, where she basically let me know she wanted to be my spiritual advisor, my spiritual guardian or guide or whatever, and I told her I wasn't interested. And that caused a kind of a rift, I guess, between us, because basically, this is my thing. I'm not a believer in the practice of witchcraft. I'm not a believer in the occult. These things are anti-Christ. They're anti-God. They're anti-Yahweh, you know. And I will not practice such things. And I know I had a conversation with her one time where she told me that Christianity is an oppressive religion and so on like that. And, you know, that's her opinion. And again, she's entitled to it. And in some respects, she's right. You know, the organized Christianity, unfortunately, there are churches, and many of them, and most of them, in fact, that have been oppressive in certain ways towards their members. That is a thing. It has happened and it does happen. Now, I don't believe that that's true Christianity. I don't believe that Yahweh ever intended for that. I don't believe that Yeshua, Jesus or Yeshua, ever intended for that to be the case, but it is. Because unfortunately, human nature kicks in. These are organizations run in a fallen world, run by fallen men. We're all fallen men. I am too. I'm no less or no more fallen than the men that run these churches. And so we got to always be on guard against our fallen human nature entering into spiritual things. And unfortunately, it does happen, though, and it happens frequently enough that it is an issue. So look, she's actually right about that in a way. But that's not true Christianity. That's organizational servitude, organizational slavery, which is not that was never intended. The sacrifice of Yeshua on the cross, of Jesus, that sacrifice was meant to free us, not to enslave us. And so, unfortunately, some have twisted it. and this is what you get for their own benefit, and this is what you get. Um, still in all, I don't believe that practicing witchcraft or getting into occult practices is the way to go. That's my opinion. That's what I believe. And so I follow what I believe. I don't follow what another person believes. Now, whatever another person follows is their business. It's not for me to tell another person what to follow or what not to follow. And if she chooses to follow New Age stuff and the occult and witchcraft and so on, I think she's wrong. That's my opinion. But I also think that she's entitled to do as she pleases. That's also my opinion. In the sense that, now, what will happen when Jesus or Yeshua comes back? That's a different story. I don't know. She may come in for a harsh judgment because she's done that. I don't know, but that's between her and him. I'm like I say, I'm not supposed to be a vigilante for Christ, out there meting out punishment ahead of Judgment Day. So anyway, the bottom line is, though, I rejected her proposal to be my spiritual guide, and I rejected it on the grounds that it contradicts with Christianity on many levels, and also on the grounds that I'm not looking for a spiritual guide, and also on the grounds that she does not practice Christianity. She practices the occult, she practices witchcraft, and so on. You know. Anyway, it could be that he's upset with me over that. Possibly. I don't really know. I didn't stop to talk to the man. It looked like he was getting ready. He actually started coming at me, like I say, with the head down and the teeth gritted. And I thought, oh shit, here we go. And I hadn't stopped. I just put my hand out the window. So I was actually trying to process. When I got to the stop sign, I'm thinking, what the hell was that? What just happened? I was trying to process it at the time. So anyway, I didn't stop to ask him what it was. If he does it again when I'm on my way past there, I may very well stop and ask him what it is. Because I am curious. I'd like to know. I don't want to just assume anything. I may be completely wrong about what it is. Anyway, I don't know. Bottom line is, though, that I'm guessing the guy's mad at me. That's too bad. I prefer for him not to be mad at me. I got along well with the guy for quite a while. But if he's mad at me, he's mad at me. I mean, if he ever wants to tell me why, I'm willing to listen. And perhaps someday when I'm going past there, if he pulls another one of those, it won't come as a surprise to me like it did the first time. So if I see him somewhere and he does that, I may very well ask him, look, what's this about? Why are you coming at me like that? What's this about? And maybe he'll choose to tell me, and then we'll know and we can clear the air. And maybe we'll agree to disagree. Maybe we'll get into a physical confrontation and one of us will get hurt or killed. Or maybe he'll tell me what it is and each of us will tell the other to go F himself and we'll just go our own way. I don't know. I don't know what'll happen, but like I say, I am interested to know what's going on. I don't really like when things like that happen, especially when I don't understand why. Near as I can tell, I haven't done anything to deserve that kind of reaction. Yes, I did offend his daughter-in-law, if that's what it's about, and I have a feeling that's probably what it's about. But in the end, I'm under no obligation to accept her as my spiritual guide and to practice witchcraft because she thinks that would be a good thing, or the occult or whatever. And yes, I know some people, many people, find my position even about women and women being spiritual leaders offensive. Because these days we're supposed to say that a woman can do anything, what she wants to do. But the thing is, that is a scriptural thing. So, Like I say, I'm following scripture when I say that. I'm not saying it as a hateful thing, but I'm following scripture. And unfortunately, in this society, with all its political correctness and all the stuff that goes with that, if you dare to stick with what scripture says about certain issues, you are going to be in conflict with people. That's just how it is. So if you're going to be a follower of scripture, then you're going to have issues. I'll just put it that way. You're going to have issues. And Lord